Yeah. Oh, no, sorry. That was a clap. 1, 2. Hey, guys, what's going on? It is your boys, Jimmy G.
Mike Wayman.
We are Bacon is My Passion, and this is Bacon is My Podcast. Now, we, as you know, have a tendency to talk long, to go in depth with things, and we were super excited to bring you this interview today with Chase Owens, the crown jewel of the Bullet Club, Chase Owens from New Japan Pro Wrestling, but
he decided that he also likes to talk a lot with us, and we're gonna have to break this up into 2 episodes.
Yeah, it went long.
It went real long.
Man, so right off the bat, I just want to say thank you so much to Chase Owens. Thank you for your time. You were more than generous. And man, what a good time we had hanging out with him.
Just had a great time talking. And yeah, we definitely got to have him on again.
Yeah, absolutely. So what follows this right now, of course, powered by Poddex, it is part 1 of our 2-part interview with Chase Owens, the crown jewel of the Bullet Club from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Check it out, guys. Enjoy. It's sweet.
Bacon! Bacon is my podcast! Bacon! Bacon is my... Bacon! Bacon is my podcast! Bacon! Bacon is my...
So here we are with New Japan Pro Wrestling star, the crown jewel of Bullet Club.
Yes.
Mr. Chase freaking Owens. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Yeah, tired. Just drove back from Quantico, Virginia. Good 5.5 hours.
Yeah, so like leading up to this, you were actually telling me that you drove 18 hours to go to your parents' house. Where you driving from? Where?
We drove from San Antonio to Bristol, Virginia, and then we were here for a couple days. Then we drove to my fiance's dad's house because he works up at Quantico, and we drove back today. Little longer trip with 2 kids needing to go to the bathroom every hour.
Yeah, that happens, man. I've got the 2 kids thing too, and
yeah, this is my first trip with them, like long trip.
Yeah, and
so I'm used to riding by myself and just only stopping when I need gas.
Right.
And I was getting, especially the other day, driving from San Antonio to Bristol. It's already 18 hours.
Right.
Then I was like, oh my Lord, we're making too many stops. Let's go.
What's your go-to to like keep you going for an 18-hour like drive? Because you're taking most of the wheel, right?
Right. Sunflower seeds.
Oh, okay.
The constant chewing does. I read something about it one time. Yeah. Does something to your brain that keeps you awake.
I'm gonna remember that. We're both in bands, and I've done quite a bit of touring and driving around the country as well. So I know about the long drives. It's
music,
a similar thing.
Window down, sunflower seeds.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're further south than us. Where you can't do the windows down right now here. It's
no.
Actually
it'll keep
warmed
you awake.
Up a little bit, but
it's brutal.
It was like overnight is like 19 degrees. Oof. And that's just no fun. That's not window.
I'm glad I moved to Texas now because.
So where are you originally from?
Virginia.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool.
Moved in June.
You were I did cursory research on you, sir. And so how long did you lived in Tennessee? You were born in Tennessee? Is that truthful? Is that?
Yes, I was born in Tennessee, but my town's right on the Virginia-Tennessee line.
Okay.
So the hospital was on the Tennessee side, but
gotcha.
My parents' house is actually Virginia side, 10 minutes away. But
nice. Okay. I've got some friends in Pennsylvania that are right on the Ohio border, so it's like the same deal. Where it's like you cross the train tracks and you're in the other state.
Yep, there's train tracks right on the state line. So
yep.
Now you said you moved out to San Antonio. What brought you to San Antonio?
The girlfriend at the time
Okay.
Now fiance.
Nice.
Oh, well, that's a success story. So that's good. That worked out. That was a worthy trip then.
Yes. Well, maybe. I've still got time to.
That's true. That's true.
What's so how long you been living in San Antonio?
Since June.
Okay.
So
Cool.
not too long. Moved right in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
good
was-
time. Good time to go. Not a lot of people to bug you.
Yeah, the 18 hours in a car ride is long enough, but in a U-Haul truck is even worse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you can't even recline in those things.
No,
at all.
my back was
Jacked up.
so beat.
So, well, at least. So, were you wrestling at all during the pandemic? Because I know that New Japan was doing some stuff stateside, but it wasn't until later on.
Let's see. When did we do? I think we went July, August, late June, August.
Okay.
Somewhere around in that time. But yeah, other than that, there was nothing going on. So
Yeah.
just sitting in my house, which was the longest break I've had in 13 years.
I can imagine, right?
So yeah. So I got a little I mean, I like just sitting around and playing video games or whatever, but for what was it, 9 months before we went back to Japan, it was got a little
Hairy.
I gotta get out. Gotta get out of this house.
Right. Yeah. You feel good for the first little while. You're like, oh man, I can get used to this for a little while. And then it's like, I'm gonna murder everyone in here.
Yeah, getting paid, not having to work, play video games.
Sweet for a while.
Now that's,
like, all
that's
right.
one thing. That's one thing that I did hear, and that's you read the dirt sheets when you're a wrestling fan and this and that, but like New Japan did right by everybody from what I hear.
Oh, absolutely. New Japan, people always say, oh, would you go somewhere else? And, but I actually had this conversation with my buddy yesterday because he got a offer for his job. He's not a wrestler, but he got an offer for his job, but he also lives in San Antonio, but he got like a 50% pay raise if he takes it, but he's got to move to Maryland. And he just doesn't think he's going to be happy, and that's what I told him. I was like, money's good, but but that's the same thing with if I was offered to go wrestle somewhere else for, let's just say, double what I make now. Like, I don't know if I would do it because New Japan has taken such good care of me, in the quality of wrestling, and you're on your own, creative for the most part. You don't have to worry, about stupid angles and
You're not being handed lines that you would never say.
You're not. I mean, they let you say whatever you want. They're not. All right, here's the script for tonight.
Right.
So I personally feel my happiness and mental state is better than making tons of money.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
not
can
that
definitely.
tons of money is bad, but
Well, yeah. No, nobody's saying tons of money would be awful.
Right.
yeah, but you just gotta weigh them out.
Definitely, you definitely got to weigh them out.
So
You want to go be miserable or
Right.
with like with the possible expansion of New Japan and stuff like that, does the possibility of being stateside a little bit more, does it interest you at all, or you're like, hey, I love going to Japan, you love the culture, you love going there and doing your thing, and which would you prefer? I mean, would you ever decide to like stay stateside?
I mean, I like in Japan, I mean, I go for a few weeks usually, and it's like, all right, I like it, but ready to be home. So this last time when we went for 3 months after not being there for 9, it was
Right.
it's one of those things, and it's like I just said, I'm glad I really like and love being a part of New Japan, because if I didn't, that 3 months would have probably, drove me insane.
Yeah, that's a long gig, man. That's
Yeah, but
imagine.
like I said, for 9 months we sat at the house getting paid, so
Absolutely.
you can't really complain.
Yeah.
So what started your kind of like, did you always know that you wanted to perform in Japan? Was that something like when you started out being a fan and everything, what was like the first introduction to Japanese wrestling? You know, because a lot of us, I grew up and it was like, when I grew up, it was, you know, it was WWF and then it was WCW. And then I used to watch old World Class stuff on the ESPN would do it like in the afternoons, and I'd watch the reruns and stuff. And I would like take in any pro wrestling that I could find. But I wasn't really aware of the companies or the wrestlers from overseas until later in life, as like I started like trading tapes and finding it through things like that. What was kind of your introduction to Japan? Did you always just kind of like know it from right off the bat, or?
Okay, this is going to sound bad. I really didn't know about New Japan until a year before I started going there. I knew about New Japan. So I watched WCW, obviously.
Right.
So I would hear the name New Japan when guys like Liger and Nagata and Chono and Tenzan, you know, like all those guys were there, but it never really hit me that like it was I mean, I was still young teenager, I guess.
Yeah.
So like still didn't ever really hit me. And then, you know, about a year before I started going over there, one of my best friends who runs Smoky Mountain Wrestling, which was NWA Smoky Mountain Championship Wrestling. It's changed names several times throughout the years, but you know, he was like, "Hey, do you want to come over and watch this New Japan pay-per-view?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I don't remember which one it was exactly. Might have been at Dominion or something, but you know, it just watching it was like, holy shit, that's like, this is great, and I'll never be able to wrestle there. Oh, hey, you want to come wrestle for it? Whoa, like
that's awesome.
You know, that's great.
So, you know, so it really was crazy because, like I said, I didn't really. I mean, I knew there was a New Japan, I guess, but I didn't really like know it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really got into it. It was funny. I watched the Wrestle Kingdom where it was AJ Nakamura before they came to WWE, and that was my first real exposure to New Japan.
It's a good match.
Same with you, man. I was like,
and if you watch that match, then you're going to be hooked.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly. Yeah. Right.
And it was funny too because when I went to watch it, it was like 6 hours. This is well before it turned into 2 nights. So it's like you go, wait, hold. This is 6 hours of wrestling, really? And you know, they start with the New Japan Rumble, so they got, you know, all those guys in there, and then it's like off to the races with the singles matches, and they all build up. What I love about it is they don't have that get up match, that match where it's like, okay, I'm gonna go get popcorn.
Right, the pee break.
They build it so this way it's building, but it starts like right off the bat. It's just crazy good. So that Wrestle Kingdom had me hooked. For me, it was like, okay, well, I'm paying for WWE Network. I should definitely pay for this. My only gripe is, and I don't know if you could pull any strings over there, Chase, but
can't listen to this.
they gotta come up with a better app than what's on the Fire Stick, man.
Yeah, I think they're working on it. They're just a little behind, and it's like they're always playing catch up a little bit. But you know that they do have some. I can't really discuss them, but they do have some things in the works. Not necessarily for, you know, the New Japan world, but little different things that I think people are really going to enjoy.
I'm fingers crossed. We need a new TV.
Keep our eyes open.
We need a new TV deal because I actually had somebody, a family member who used to work for Access when you guys were on Access, and that was great. That was perfect because you had a weekly show.
Well, that's probably coming soon because didn't they just announce some new TV deal for the UK? And
I heard something about a UK deal,
UK.
But I didn't hear anything for
UK and somewhere else. I thought like some crazy country, or I don't remember. But actually, somebody asked me about it, and I was like, that's the first I'm hearing about it. And then it came up. Then they like released a tweet or something I was like, oh,
Nice.
all right.
I see. It's a good way to find out about stuff. You're gonna find out about your action figures when you see them in a store. You're gonna find out you're on a video game when you play it.
Wait, who's making money off of this?
Right, exactly. Hold on. Who do I gotta call?
I think and so what one thing about making money off of your stuff, that's actually how I knew of you obviously because I watched the product, but Jim and I actually met you in Las Vegas a couple years back when we actually went to the ROH TV tapings. I think it was after Death Before Dishonor. And
did I wrestle Kenny? Kenny King?
No. Yeah. Oh,
wait. No, it was Kenny King.
Yeah, you did wrestle Kenny King.
Okay.
Yeah. It was the TV tapings. And they had the intermission. And he and I were like super stoked because for me.
Came to the table.
Yeah. Well, first. We came
to the table and immediately embarrassed himself.
Well,
immediately.
So we got like second row tickets for 4 TV show tapings for like $35. How do you go wrong with that?
Yeah.
How? It's just you can't. So then we went up to the merch table, and lo and behold, you were out there hawking your merch, and I was kind of perusing, seeing what was up, and then you said something like, "Hey, somebody help me with my gambling habit." And then immediately, like, I was like, dude, of course. Here, take my money. I want a Chase Owens shirt.
I couldn't be in Vegas.
Oh, man. I used to live in Vegas.
That money you paid me for that shirt was definitely lost that night. Just so you know.
It's all a part of the experience.
It was worth it because you gave him a good video for his.
And then so a friend of mine, he watches New Japan pretty regularly, and for some reason, and this was before any of this happened, he was drinking some Chase Owens Haterade. I don't know why.
Oh, a lot of people do that. I love it.
It's so weird. So when you were there, and I was like, man, I told him, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna tell Chase Owens to troll my friend, because fuck him. And and you did, and I still have the video, and it torments him to this day that you still mess with him.
I love when people are hating, and because it doesn't do anything to me. I just laugh about it.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. You can pay to hate.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you find better? Do you find do you like being someone that's on the right side of things, that is trying to be loved, or what do you find that's more difficult, or to be hated by a crowd? Like, is it easier for you to turn on the charm or just turn on the venom?
No, I definitely venom. I don't care if people like me. It's all good.
That's how you got to do it, man. That's what makes you successful.
I love going on Twitter after matches and just scrolling and then just liking all the hates.
That's exactly what he would do.
Yeah,
because some people get pissed off about it and then they try to respond, but it doesn't bother me because it's not affecting my paycheck. So
right, yeah, you're a non-face on the internet.
So and then I always love it because you'll like a just a tweet that doesn't say, like, not at you,
right,
but it just your name because you searched and you like it. Then they get pissed off. Quit vanity searching. Like, I like.
You can't win on the internet, man.
Like, you just liked your tweet. I don't care.
You can't win on the internet. It's something that I have to ask too. So we're from New York, so Wrestlemania Weekend was in New York that week, and of course there's all the festivities. I went to G1. I wore my Chase Owens shirt at the G1.
You almost said onesie, which I think I would love that if you had a Chase Owens onesie. Can you please make adult size Chase Owens?
Who's selling these onesies?
Oh, there you go.
I was gonna say, what's going on there?
So I wore my Chase Owens shirt at G1, of course. But the next day before WrestleMania, they had the Bullet Club block party, and I was so tempted to go. My wife would have divorced me because I had been at NXT Friday, She won on Saturday, and then Sunday, what I wanted to do was I wanted to go day drinking with Haku.
Oh, well, that would have definitely happened.
I would have loved to do that.
Do you have any good day drinking with Haku stories? That's the burning question.
Are there
for
any
me.
bad day drinking with Haku stories?
No.
So I don't drink,
Mhm.
and I've never had any stories because he's calmed down a little bit. But I've definitely heard some stories, from like Ricky and them back in the day, where he's beating some dude up at the bar, and the dude's buddy grabs a wooden chair and like just smashes it over Haku's head. And he just looks at him like it doesn't even faze him.
That's awesome.
I love hearing like when I've had a chance to hang out and speak to a couple of like I met and got to talk to AJ Styles for a while once, and it was just really cool, just kind of like talking.
One of the best, most
him.
down to earth guys.
Super cool dude, and from him to like I hung out and talked with like Ruby Riot for a while about like we both were from Indiana and we talked about just bullshit and stuff. And I just I love how you're in an industry that just kind of like lets you get good at just talking to anyone. You can just kind of like do it. Have you found that like it's easier for you to, has it always been easy for you to just kind of like talk to people and be open and stuff? Or were you ever kind of shy or?
I mean, I was pretty outgoing in high school and so, I mean, I felt more shy when I was first starting wrestling, like actually in the ring. But as far as just talking to people, like it just, like for me, it comes pretty natural because I'm one of those, like I'll treat you with respect as long as you treat me with respect,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't care. All these people, the world today, it's
right.
Oh, you don't see your views the same as me. You're the enemy. Like,
right.
You're
evil, huh?
Yeah, you can like bacon for a main course, and
right.
That don't mean we're the enemy.
It doesn't. You can be a vegetarian and we're cool. What was so I know you were or I read that you were an amateur wrestler as well. And so when you kind of made that transition and to go along with like being uncomfortable and stuff, do you remember what like that first match in front of people was like? And then how much did being an amateur wrestler and wrestling in tournaments and stuff and being in front of people, did that help you? Did that, make that transition? Does that make sense the way I phrase that? I don't know.
So when I did the match, thought it was great. Now, if I go back and watch it,
right,
it was absolutely horrible. But I think and it's something I wish I'd have done more, is add amateur wrestling stuff into my matches, but I just never seemed to get it there. I don't know, but but I definitely think being amateur wrestler and being an athlete in general, like, and not only that, watching wrestling ever since I was little, so it kind of like it was easy to like, all right, I know what's going on here,
Okay,
there was a bit of a blueprint,
picking up the timing and stuff.
Yeah, because if you've never watched wrestling before and you don't know how storylines and matches go, it might be a little harder to get.
Yeah, I can imagine that's. I know there was a period of time where a lot of bodybuilders, football players, and everything were getting signed to big contracts to be wrestlers, and they were just kind of coming in cold and being trained at like a big company's wrestling school, Yeah,
and that's kind of disheartening as indie guy or whatever. If you're working your ass off day in, day out, traveling 8 hours for $40 and a hot dog and a handshake.
Right.
And then then you go to these tryouts and you're getting passed up because there's a pro football player or just these CrossFit athletes just because they're just because they look great or whatever, but never stepped foot in the ring one time.
Or never watched it.
Never watched it. Those are the worst.
I'll say this: I don't think it's going to get anybody in trouble. I was there doing extra work for WB the day Mojo Rawley got signed, and he had never stepped foot in the ring one time.
He still looks that way.
Yeah, I can see that.
So he's in his suit, and whoever was running the tryouts was like, "Are you here for the tryout?" "Oh yeah, but who's the Canyon Seaman or whatever?" Whoever the dude is.
Right.
Yeah, he told me not to get in the ring because I've never been in there before. But he was signed that night. So
that's so crazy. It makes you do you ever like question like what the hell are they looking for?
Yeah, I mean sometimes you do. And I tell people, and I don't know how well y'all keep up with Ring of Honor now, but if you know Sledge, So I wrestled him in San Antonio, and he came and was talking, what do I got to do to this? And I told him, I was like, you've got to put yourself in position, because I've known multiple talented guys look great in the ring, but they never made it anywhere because they never just were in that right spot, right time. Or, right place, right time, and just never got the right people's eyes on them. Sure. So it was shortly after that Sledge packed up and moved from California to the ROH dojo, and now he's contracted. So it takes sacrifices. When I was living in Virginia, I'd always hit up some younger guys like, "Hey, got 3 seats in the car this weekend. You want to go?" "Oh yeah, sure." "Are we booked?" "Maybe, just come."
Right.
Yeah.
And then that day, this came up. Like, oh, okay.
Right.
And then, but you're never. I always tell people, because when I started, there was 5 shows within a 2-hour radius of me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wrestling 5 nights a week, 6 nights a week, every other week. Because one show, a Sunday show, ran every other week. But that's how I got on 2 shows. I went down to Seymour, Tennessee on a Tuesday, met up with a guy named Sean Schultz. He asked me, "Hey, what are you doing tomorrow night?" "Oh, nothing." "Well, hey, come to this show in Sevierville, Tennessee." "All right, cool, I'll be there." So I show up. Unfortunately, somebody's brother passed away or something that day in a car wreck or whatever. "Hey, he's not making it. You got your gear?" "Yeah." Wrestled. I was there for every week for the next 5 years.
I can imagine that that's a pretty common thing. Just knowing people in general, if you get say you book 20 people on something, and I just know this from the music industry too, just being bands, like I've been on tours where I show up in a town and the main act canceled that day, and it's like, "Can you do an extra hour?" And it's like, "Yeah, I absolutely can." You're always going to have those people that kind of don't show, and I imagine that in the wrestling business it's got to be similar. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like if you're there with your
getting ready to say it's probably the same in band. You meet bands when you're on tour, and then they go somewhere else and need an opening act or whatever. It's just networking, and it's being if I'm not wrestling, then I'm going to sit here on my couch. Well,
that's
get you.
I mean, that's a huge thing with our
hustle's
community.
Everything, man. Hustle is everything.
It's like, we notice when we see bands that don't necessarily have shows there, like, "Oh, you're supporting, like, that's cool. Let's get them in here."
Yeah,
and that's got to be the same with the wrestling stuff.
Yeah, and you find ways to save money too. This might be kind of bad, but it's funny. So the first time I ever drove to Texas, me, Jason Kincaid, my buddy Chris Richards, we're all driving. Who else? Will Huckabee was with us. So we leave late afternoon. I think we drive through the night. So it's coming up 6, 7 a.m. We're finally in Texas. We're all tired. Kincaid's driving. He goes, "Y'all hungry?" "Yeah, what are we going to eat?" "Don't worry about it." Next thing I know, we pull into a hotel. Just act like you belong. Right to the continental breakfast.
Hell yeah, man.
There you go.
I've done it.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I guess it might be still in, but you gotta figure out things. I don't know how many
It can happen.
You know how much of that
people's couches. People's couches I've slept on, nights in the car. Just to try to get somewhere.
Yeah, man. You gotta. It's part of the deal. That's part of like, there's always that like paying your dues thing. And I think that a lot of that is a lot of people talk about paying their dues, but they don't really know what paying your dues is.
Right.
And that's some of it. It's, partially it's the hustle, but it's also that survival mentality. And it's that like, yeah, I'll do this. Yeah, I can do that. I'll make it work. You got to adapt to whatever's going on. And yeah, if you're eating a continental breakfast, man, you're eating a continental breakfast.
Yeah. There's guys have said, cause you'll see a lot of guys that show up and they're always first match, which isn't a bad thing. I like being first.
You got to set the tone.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But you'll see them, but then they'll complain like, "I've been the first match or second match for however many years at the same show or whatever," but then they leave right after the match. And
right.
Some veterans have always said, you want to learn how to be in the main event, stick around, watch the main event guys.
Right. Yeah. How can you expect to be in the main event if you don't see it?
It's like parallel.
Yeah, it really is.
Absolute parallel to
what's like, can you point to like, if someone asked you like, what's the best bit of advice that you got while coming up, or advice that you would give to somebody who's coming up? What have you heard and what have you kind of found?
This may not be so much for the work part, but Ricky Morton would always tell me, be nice to everybody, because the people you see on the way up are going to be the ones that you see on the way down, and they might be the ones determining if you're getting a paycheck or not.
Yeah,
absolutely.
One thing I gotta say, man, I know you've got a pretty good relationship with Ricky Morton.
Well, he trained you, right?
Dude.
Correct.
Yeah.
That dude can still work. How old is he now?
64.
And he's still taking bumps. He's still doing stuff.
I think.
Man, I used to watch, like when I was a little kid, the Rock and Roll Express was just, it was on those, it was on a lot of the rerun stuff that I would see. And I would still see them. Like I remember when they were doing Smoky Mountain. I remember seeing some of that. But seeing their old matches, like seeing them come up against like the Road Warriors and seeing at the Midnight Express, of course. But Ricky Morton was always like, man, I always, just as a little kid, like I always just like felt bad for him in matches. Like I was always like, man,
he can take an ass.
And later on, like learning more about the wrestling business and having friends that went on to like do independent stuff and everything, it started to, it like clicked that it was like, man, he's just amazing at his job. Like he makes other people look amazing and keeps himself looking amazing while doing it, and that seems like a balancing act that would be tough to do. But I just like, when I was a little kid, man, he was my dude. I'd be tying bandanas around my wrists and running around to the Rock and Roll Express song. It was awesome.
A lot of people did, and that's the thing with Ricky too. Even though he's 64, he can still go when he feels comfortable. Because for him, that's how he's making a living. So, I remember before he started doing the suicide dives and Canadian destroyers on people, I remember one night wrestling him, and I remember it. We were in Sevierville, Tennessee, and this is when it because I've wrestled Ricky a million times,
Right.
throughout the 13 years now. And it was one night he was, do this. I'll clothesline you over and this is in the ring. I'll
Right.
clothesline you over the top. Catch me. The fuck? What does it mean, catch me? Okay. Clothesline over. Catch me. Oh shit. So because he hadn't done it in years.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and he's getting up there and
Yeah.
but then it was that moment like he trusts me.
That's awesome.
Hey, I saw a few a little while ago. You went to the Pritchard Jacobs Academy. I know that's brand new and just opened up, but you went in there. Anything you could tell us about it? Did you do any kind of like a seminar? Did you go there to train a little bit? What was up with that?
You'll hear it here first. Okay.
All right.
Tom Pritchard was the last Texas heavyweight champion. So he presented me with the Texas heavyweight champion after this tournament of 264 people that I won recently.
Oh man.
Wow.
Nice.
That's
Dude, that's
awesome.
Congratulations for that.
Is that even a feasible bracket?
200.
I don't know.
That's a lot. It's a
I
lot.
don't
It's a lot of
know.
people.
But
Yeah.
whatever. I was presented with the Texas heavyweight title.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
That's been retired for
Yeah.
15,
How many?
So-
10,
15.
something like that. I don't know.
That's
Are
awesome.
you like a belt guy? Like, do you collect stuff like that or?
So the only belt I have is a replica of the NWA World Junior title that I won,
Mhm.
but only the one version. So I'll probably get the second version, but I don't have any of WB belts or
Yeah,
Right.
TNA titles
Yeah.
or like.
nobody wants those. Cool.
Somebody wants those.
Okay. Whatever.
No,
There are people out there.
Sure.
That's awesome though. Do you like how do you still feel like I know there's like the debate that I see in I don't know if there really is, but there's the debate I see of like, are belts
Oh yeah.
do they mean something or are they a prop? You know what I mean? Like do you have
yeah,
do you have a side on that?
I mean, I definitely feel the person can make a title more than the belt can make a person.
Make a person? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now I'll just use this as an example. Because for a while now the never open weight title started out pretty big because you were having guys like Ishii and Makabe that were just
Right.
just beating the piss out of each other.
Out of each other.
Yeah. And then it kind of went away a little bit, and I feel didn't really mean much. But now you've got
Shingo.
Shingo Takagi, who's just one of the best wrestlers. He's a guy that when he wrestles, everybody's looking through the curtain or finding a spot at the monitor or whatever. But
I love
him. Has it happened yet? Him and Tanahashi are getting ready to.
they're getting ready to
Did it?
do.
I don't think it did.
No, not yet.
Soon, I'm sure, but maybe after this airs, before this airs.
Yeah, this is probably end of February.
Yeah, this will be end of
So
February.
it'll probably.
I think it happens the end of this month.
Okay.
Beginning of February. I don't know, but definitely excited about that one too because Tanahashi's, he's like Ricky. He's one of the best. He's been on top for what 15, 20 years now.
Right.
It feels like forever.
So it's to be able to perform at the level he does for that long, it's truly incredible.
It's amazing too, because if you look at Japanese wrestlers and you look at American wrestlers, like Chase, you're 30, and then you got like Suzuki, who is absolutely not 30, but still doing all the same shit.
Right.
It's like, is there some kind of youth serum that they have over there?
I don't know, but
Any
I
idea?
hope I find it.
Yeah, you should
right?
talk to one of those guys. They have them set you up, man.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, Tana's at such a high level. You know, Okada performs at such a high level.
Yeah.
You know, Jay's still young, but he's performing at high levels. You know, so to be able to do that, you know, I'm sure your body's broken and beat
Right.
up and
Yeah.
It's their recovery. They have better recovery
Well,
techniques.
that's the other thing. I mean, I know travel definitely takes its toll on you with going back and forth to Japan, but like,
What's the big difference while you're in Japan? Like
the big
when you're
thing
here and
I
you're
find
driving
is-
around, and then you're in Japan and you're driving around. Is there like as far as the travel taking its toll on your body? Like here, I know you're cramped in small rental cars, or you got your car and you're traveling.
you're
with a bunch of
driving
dudes.
yourself.
You're driving yourself. Yeah.
But the
Is
schedule,
it a different situation?
there, the schedule's there. The schedule is definitely way better than anything going on over here.
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, the travel wise, we get on the bus, and the buses are real spacious, and we can lay back in our own individual seat, and you know, and we're not having to drive. So that's one of those.
Definitely a plus,
You know,
yeah.
oh, we got
Mentally relax.
a 12-hour trip today. All right,
Right.
whatever. Headphones in, rain music going. I'm out.
Right.
You know, but yeah, when I was over there the last 3 months, the schedule was a little bit easier just because, I guess, because of COVID, we weren't really leaving Tokyo much.
Okay.
So, but there are times where it's all right, we're in this hotel tonight, this hotel tomorrow, that hotel the next day. And it just, you know, that I think the traveling could be harder than the actual in-ring competition at times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely could see that being harder on you.
Now on the bus, who's the biggest ribber?
I don't know if there really is, because we pretty much just sleep or you know, or chill and watch Netflix. The bus has got Wi-Fi. So the bus is so spaced out that we all just kind of have our own little.
Is it everybody, or is it, you know, kind of set, you know, you get two or three buses?
You've got Bullet Club bus, Suzuki Goon bus, New Japan bus.
Nice,
the
man.
LIJ has their own van, so they might have got screwed a little bit because the buses are definitely more comfortable.
Right.
Oh yeah, man. I gotta tell you, this has been awesome, but we have to actually interrupt this to get to our sponsor.
Yeah, we have to get our
we
money,
got
people.
sponsors.
We got our sponsors,
Yeah.
right?
So this is Pod Decks. It's kind of like Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah, you ever played
And-
Cards
Oh,
Against Humanity?
I love Cards Against Humanity.
Nice.
Well, this is like that. It's a little bit held back.
Yeah.
But it's for like, it's to help podcasters if they don't know what to go into something with. He and I can talk about nothing for days. So
that's not as dirty as Cards Against Humanity.
it's not,
Unfortunately,
unless
no.
you make it.
But you can. It depends on you.
It depends on you.
sir.
So
it could
yeah,
definitely
we've
be
got-
dirty.
Okay, so that he's a what the heck deck guy.
Yeah, he's a
then.
what the heck deck.
Oh, that's a would you
I
rather?
got a what the heck deck.
Okay. So if you go to poddex.com and use the promo code BACON, you can get 10% off your order. And
Greatest
help the
promo code of all
podcast out,
time. Greatest
Yeah.
promo code of all
because everything's better with bacon. So Chase, what we like to tell people to do.
I can't shuffle. He can.
Oh yeah, I can shuffle.
I'm absolutely awful at it. I lived in Vegas for a year
Useless.
and completely useless. I was a
Useless.
bartender, not a. I couldn't.
Yeah, I'm with you. I wouldn't.
he
be
can
able to
pour a
shuffle
good
either.
whiskey.
I can put money down and lose it. I can do that.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, that I can do all day. All day.
You know what I'm upset about right now, though?
What's that?
You all have this cool setup, and I'm sitting next to a door.
It's
Well,
all right. Next
we're-
time. Next time.
This
'Cause
setup
I'm-
is his garage, man. This is
'Cause I'm-
garage band stuff.
I'm not at my house and don't have my my room and
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there one day. Next time.
just using this closet door.
You know, it's great. Most people listen to this on podcast networks. We have some that watch the video portion, but the vast majority just listen. So actually, you are
So
wherever
I
you
didn't
say
have
you
to
are.
wear clothes today.
You did not
We
have
did
to.
not.
Are you wearing pants? Because neither of us are.
We usually don't.
Me either.
Nice. Now we know it's a party.
All right. So, Chase, I'm going to fan the deck a bit. So you just let me know when to stop and which card to pick. And we'll...
You can't see anything, but
Stop.
stop.
Okay.
No. I should have
good.
just
There's only one.
let you keep going.
Just let him keep going back and forth.
Oh, here we go. What's the grossest thing you've ever seen someone do in public? He's been to Japan. They're messed up over there.
I want to go so badly.
In public.
Yeah, that's the caveat.
Might have. Trying to think. I know one time. This might not be the grossest, but this is what's coming to mind right away.
All right.
Somebody at the airport getting all deep in there.
Digging in
Digging
the
for
back.
gold.
Digging
Mine-
in
And
the
then-
back.
And then
And then the face. Oh,
yeah, then fucking with their face, and I don't know if they just like they intended on smelling it or if it was just kind of. But
yeah,
it was
maybe it was
definitely it definitely went from way deep down in there.
Oh,
To,
Maybe they were kind of trying to gauge, like, hey, I've got some action happening later. Let's test this out, see if it's safe.
yeah. Sounds like they might have had action happening then.
Maybe.
And then they handed a
might-
ticket to
they-
somebody, right?
they might have
Ugh.
they might have been going home to from that night.
Right.
You know,
Oh, that's
there you
true.
go.
Little reminder.
Do I need to shower before I see my other?
There you go.
That's always important. Actually, not a sponsor. Manscaped. They do
Manscaped?
really good work.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Hair is a breeding ground for bacteria.
Yeah. But no, they have like ball deodorant.
They do. They do.
And they have
I've seen it. I haven't ordered anything from it, but I did see Tama promoting it. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Tama, okay. Chase, I like you and all, but Tama seems like the coolest dude.
he's pretty out there.
I mean, like if you're on his good side, he's definitely like,
Oh yeah, you definitely
Still-
want to be on the good side.
if you're on his bad side, don't. Just don't.
Yeah, he's
And it seems kind of easy to get there.
nah, he's pretty
Yeah,
relaxed. If he gets fired up on you though, you're
that's it, man.
you're in for it.
One thing I do miss, and I guess there was like a thing where New Japan was kind of like, hey, you guys got to stop like cursing so much. But when Gorillas of Destiny would wrestle, that first Wrestle Kingdom I watched, they're just screaming shit at guys, and that made me fall in love
So
with
have you watched the YouTube? What's it on YouTube? It's like New Japan's not safe for kids or something, and it's just
them. No, I haven't,
No, but I will.
but I will.
it's. You can edit this out if I say too much. It's just Tonga Loa basically. Eat shit. Fuck you.
It's amazing.
Fuck. It's like,
Literally,
Jesus.
they would just like clothesline a dude and just be like, "Yeah, motherfucker, stay down, sit your ass down." I was just
yeah,
like, "Oh,
go-
these guys,
definitely go.
my new favorite tag team."
Definitely go watch that YouTube video because I think that's what it is. Let's see if we can.
Tongaloa, another good one. He's
He's
Nice.
the one that I click with the most.
no, they're all stateside.
Oh, you know what? Oof. So I put in New Japan or NJPW is not for kids. And then it's showing here episode 4, 10,
Oh man.
2, 7. So there's definitely
Oh, there's a
All right.
bunch of them.
We're gonna put some links.
Swearing in New Japan. That's the one you want to watch.
We're definitely going to put some links in the description
Yeah, I was gonna say
so you can find all
there's
that.
a good chance that if you're saying New Japan is not safe for kids, a whole thing is just Ibushi match highlights, and this is how you destroy your neck.
Yes,
man.
absolutely. Him and not even doing that. Have you ever seen Ibushi standing on top of the car with the Roman candles and
Right.
Oh yeah,
he's a nut.
he's crazy, man. He's
a nut.
crazy. One thing, going back to the whole like belt thing, man, they gotta split those up again too.
Completely agree. But I think from what Ibushi's press conference, he wants to unify them
I know.
and make a completely different belt.
Right.
I think is what I
One
read.
thing that I always know, like the two of them, and that was where you were talking about, does a title mean something? When I first started watching, it was like, okay, the Intercontinental title is like legit the workhorse title, and that
was always my favorite
always
championship as a kid. Yeah.
It's going to be right there on par with the world title match, and now it's all one.
When I was growing up, I hated the world championship because I felt like the world championship was always just big, slow guys that I didn't like watching.
Yeah.
I hated
And the secondary belts are the
yeah, man. Like I never liked. I was never a fan when I was a kid. I wasn't a Hulkamaniac. I liked Savage.
Yeah.
Like I loved Randy Savage. I loved Ricky Steamboat. Like those were my guys. So them fighting over the Intercontinental title. I loved Bret Hart. I loved Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Those were my guys that I really kind of dug. And then, even over in WCW, like I liked Sting, but I didn't like. One of my friends was a big Stinger, and I was like, I liked Jericho when he was over there. I loved Eddie Guerrero, like those, Ultimo Dragon. I loved. Those were the ones that I liked watching, and so I loved those championship matches. When you were growing up, like what was your what kind of matches did you like watching, and what kind of matches do you like being in? Everything from like technical ones to high flying to hardcore to.
So I was definitely with you. I mean, I was a Hogan fan, but if I had to choose who I wanted to watch, it's definitely what you just said. Guys like Savage and Steamboat and Guerrero and Mysterio at Halloween Havoc or whatever it was. Like, if those are the matches that I'm like watching because I enjoy them, then that's the ones that I'm watching.
Yeah.
What kind of matches do you like to be in? Like, what is like style wise?
I like 10-man matches, so I don't have to do much. Nice and slow. That's singles is too much work, man.
I got to tell you,
that's
man.
why you're a tag team specialist.
That's right. I need to make a 10-man tag specialist.
There you go.
I gotta tell you, man, like
double free
the whole like New Year's.
Maybe that'll be my next contract. Only 8-man and 10-man tags.
Love it.
That's amazing. Yeah, they need to do like 10-man tag titles.
Whoa.
Yeah,
that'd be crazy.
Right?
That's not a prop.
Freebird rule.
Freebird rule.
10-man tag. Freebird rule.
5 guys. That's good. I like it. You should pitch that in Bullet Club.
Right. It's enough guys.
I mean, there's like what?
I was gonna say there is enough. Yeah.
Definitely enough guys.
What I find crazy is of the 13 guys in Bullet Club, you've been there. You're at the top of the list as one of the longest, mainstays there.
4th, I believe.
Yeah.
Fale Tama, then Yujiro, then me, I believe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How do you feel? Like, how do you feel about the revolving cast? Because going back to the band thing, when bands change, they change members and stuff like that. We get tons of shit. Everybody gets shit for it. But I feel like Bullet Club hasn't really gotten shit for the changes that they've gotten. You had the original with the Prince Devitt, and then you had your Elite time, and then now we're here with there's a Switchblade era, and now we're gonna get something else, it seems like. So how do you feel about the changes and stuff, and not just because you're in it, but from a watcher, you never do you guys get shit for that?
I mean, there's people that argue which one's which or whatever, and I've been in all of them besides the original.
Right.
I started with the AJ era, which wasn't there long. Let's see, I got there October and they left in January, so it was only a few months. But just the guys that were in the group, the guys that are in the group now, truthfully, not this is what's going on now, so this is my answer. Right. I feel the group now is the best connected. But I will say, AJ's era, there might have been a little better connection, but I wasn't there long enough to really.
Yeah. Right.
Because even though I joined in October, I only did 2 tours with them there, I think. So, so they didn't really have time to really connect. But obviously, Gallows, Anderson, AJ were all tight.
Yeah.
So, but this group now is, definitely out of the what have I been in? 3 different, 4, whatever, 3, 4. It's definitely the closest I feel that the group's been.
Well, yeah, I feel like this group of guys is very much, it's not clicky. Obviously the Elite era was super clicky. Like it felt like guys were okay. Well, we're gonna do this. We're gonna keep that Bullet Club name because we want to sell T-shirts and make a name.
Not to go off topic, but I'm amazed. Well, I shouldn't say amazed because like the talent's awesome and the impact is real. But I was just, when I saw Bullet Club shirts in a Hot Topic in like Ohio, I was blown away because I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Because there's not a stateside huge presence of people watching this.
Right.
It's somewhat underground, which I like about it because it's very punk rock that way. And that's like, I feel like rock should be like, all the good rock is underground, all the good punk is underground, all the good wrestling's underground. Like I've always like I have that, I appreciate that. And I was just amazed when I saw the crossover of all the Bullet Club stuff. Was that like, were you surprised by that, or were you like, was it just like, of course, like this is badass?
I mean, we had the talks with Pro Wrestling Tees that it was getting pitched out there. So, but I mean, when I was a kid, I would go into Hot Topic all the time. So, to be able to walk into Hot Topic and see my shirt, was definitely, so there was sometimes I'd be with some friends or whatever that I remember we didn't really, they knew I wrestle, but they didn't really understand what level.
Right. Yeah.
And I remember just taking a couple of them. We were at the mall and hey, let's go in here real quick. Oh, let's look at the, and they're like, wait a minute.
What's that?
What the fuck?
Wow.
just to kind of pop myself. And cause then they were like, holy shit. I've been friends with these.
You can turn to them.
I've been friends with these guys for, since high school.
Right.
They never came to watch me wrestle. They've never bought anything, but right then each one of them.
Yeah. Right, you're never hit in your backyard until you're hit everywhere else first.
Like, see,
that was your, I'm kind of a big deal moment.
Right.
Yeah. I was like, oh, let's just go in here and look at these shirts for, no apparent reason.
I love going into Hot Topic. I'm super emo right now.
Let's just look.
Just take a look. Just what's that?
Right next to mine. Oh, let me. Looking at this one.
You like this AFI shirt? What's this next to it? I don't know this logo.
That's a cool logo.
But this group of Bullet Club just seems it seems more like strategically done. Like each person has come in, like you, Fale, Takahashi, and God. You guys are there, and then everybody else is kind of coming in strategically. I mean, like you got Evil who came in, over this past year, which is really cool. It was a surprise for me, because you knew Evil or Sonata was going to somebody was going to step out. Somebody had to step out. And me personally, I'm like, Sonata stepping out. Like he's the guy next. And it ended up being Evil. You got Kenta. He's going to be, facing Mox for the US title soon. But like all these guys that are now in it, they seem like they're strategically put there, as opposed to like, hey, we've got a bunch of guys that would be cool to have here. You know what I'm saying? Like it feels more like the original.
What's the process of someone getting in? Do you guys, is it people you are hanging with and then you work it in, you figure out a way to work it in storyline wise? Or is it like, as much as you can tell us, like what's the process for deciding that or how that comes to be?
It's a little bit of both. We might just see somebody that's making waves on, indies, or when they were doing like Rev Pro or, like Phantasmo, for instance, that because nobody was really hanging out with him. And it was kind of, I think Jay had done some shows with him. I did a show in Vancouver with him. So it's just, hey, what about this guy?
Right.
And it's kind of a, let's take our vote. And, so
that's awesome. Cause you can like effectively, because the group has such a name and has been around, you can help make a guy.
Yeah.
That's coming up. It's like a big, reach out for somebody.
Yeah. I'll say when I joined, it definitely benefited me more than I to the group, I guess. But but that was really when that was really when like t-shirts started going good.
Yeah.
Bookings were really coming in.
Yeah, you hit it like the perfect spot, because that's when like indie wrestling was, this is here. Like we have
these guys are awesome
at our disposal right away. Like this is a cool alternative.
Mm-hmm.
So you hit, man, you hit perfect. You hit it the perfect time, man.
It was always good too, because it was like, oh yeah, you want, so now that $40 I was coming for.
Right.
Sorry.
Let's talk about that.
I'll give you the handshake and hot dog.
It's so funny because honestly we do the same thing. It's like we go to a place and they're like, yeah, we can't pay you,
but here's two drink tickets.
And how many tickets did you sell to get in here, and make sure to give us your half of the money for it. Like we're paying them to come in and play. Well, my band got
so his band his band is a headliner. Mine's like a second or third match on the card.
We're a headliner on the local level.
In a match of 8 matches, I'm like second or third, and I'm usually like the brawn panties match. So people are usually out getting concessions, stuff like that.
Right.
But he does.
But he always looks great in brawn panties.
I do.
I was going to ask if he wore them.
Every time.
Do you start out wearing them, or is the shirt come off? And
you got to come to a show to see, Chase. I'm not going to just kiss and tell.
Yeah, man.
Come on, man. In New York.
Yeah, man. Hey, you wrestled MSG, man. How did that feel?
Yeah, dude. That had to be like, did you hold Madison Square Garden at the level that you hear about a lot of people holding it, or is it just like another place?
Oh no, it was definitely a cool moment just to be able to, to walk around down there. And I actually went to, me and Giotto went to, who plays there? What hockey team?
The Rangers.
Rangers. We went to the Rangers the night before.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of cool to be like, oh, there's a hockey rink here right now. and then
Right.
Yeah.
And
the
tomorrow.
next day is the ring and all that stuff. This all the setup, and
The
so
big-
it was definitely a cool moment. MSG was cool, but
So
Yeah.
how many
the
of those
actual
moments-
the actual city of New York, I hate it. The
I don't blame you.
traffic,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, we're
hate
with-
traffic with a passion.
We ask each other every week because we
Yeah.
get together like every Friday, and we ask each other every week, why are we still here?
Yeah. I grew up in the Midwest, so I'm with you on that, man. I moved out here and I was like, what am I doing? what is
what
this?
part of the Midwest?
I grew up in Ohio, Indiana, Iowa for a little while. We moved around a lot, but mostly Indiana.
I like Ohio and Indiana. I've never been to Iowa, I don't think.
I was there briefly, very briefly.
So
We went to
and
Iowa.
then I've played through there, and then we've been there a couple times. It's not a lot going on in Iowa. Not a lot going on. You can
Except for the one.
you can hijack your Uber driver though.
Yes, we
can do that.
hijacked the Uber driver.
you know what I do like in New York though?
What's that?
Pizza.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The
You know what we're
pizza
actually
is-
gonna do?
It's great.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with that. I was a Chicago pizza guy because I lived in Indiana until I came out here, and then I was like, oh no, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
What's cool about here is like you can literally throw a stone and hit like an absolutely edible pizza place. I actually remember I went down to Virginia with my wife, and she had family down there, and we went to Costco. They were like, "Oh, we're gonna get pizza," and they went to like the Costco food stand and got like pies. And I said to myself, "What are we doing here? What?" I'm not from space. I'm from fucking New York.
Right.
Like, I don't need this.
Yeah, that was one of the things in Japan. Like they have pizza, but it's just not pizza.
Yeah.
So after there for 3 months, when I came home, I was like, "Yep, we're getting."
So, part 1 with Chase Owens
In the
Dude,
books.
in the books. He's super. Oh man, he's easy to talk to.
Cool dude.
Yeah.
You have those people that you talk to that you feel kind of like we could just keep talking forever.
Yeah.
And he was one, man. I could talk wrestling with him the whole night.
I just love the fact that that you can talk to him, because there's fans of wrestling, and then there's fans of wrestling who appreciate the art of it.
Right.
And yeah, he's super cool to talk to about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But we had to end this episode, but next week we have part 2.
Part X.
Yeah, it's got the silent X.
Silent X. X's should never be silent. Dix.
I like that better. I like that much
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
So next week, tune in.
For part 2,
Dix.
Dicks, with Chase Owens, the crown jewel of the Bullet Club.
That's right. New Japan Pro Wrestling. Check it out. We'll see you next week, guys.
Oh, and don't forget, follow him
Mm.
at Real Chase Owens on the Instagram
Yes.
and social medias, and the Twitch.
And I
It's
have his
at-
Twitch.
Crown Jewel BC.
Yep.
So hit him up on the Twitch. It's
He's doing
very,
interviews. He's playing games. Check him out.
very small subscription, but you know what? It's
Totally worth it.
man.
Totally worth it. Buy him a coffee.
Buy him a coffee. All right. We'll see you next week with part 2.
Dix.